Good evening, and welcome to another World of Warships video with Captain Darkwing Glacier. In this video, I'm taking out my Massachusetts again, my Tier 8 American Premium Battleship. Now, I've been doing a lot of videos about the Massachusetts, but I can't really help myself because it is a very fun ship to play, and I'm doing pretty well in it. And from what I can see of other players, they seem to be doing well in this ship as well. So it's a popular ship and it is a powerful ship. So here's yet another video. So one of the things I want to kind of focus in on this one is that when I'm driving my Massachusetts, I essentially have no fear. There are very few ships that scare me when I'm in a Massachusetts. Even at tier 10. I mean, that sounds kind of surprising. And in plenty of tier 10 battles, I do find myself running away from the enemy fleet, or kiting, if you want to be a little more diplomatic. But when I do that, it's when there are multiple tier 10 ships all converging on me and targeting me. So if it's just a single tier 10 ship, I'll just go right at them and I'll fight them. So here's a Tirpitz, which is, I take my first shot at extremely long range, and I do get 4 hits on it, which isn't bad for a first salvo, especially from a ship that is noted for its inaccurate main guns. In any event, the Tirpitz is the, well, I won't say it's the counterpart of the Massachusetts because they are very different ships, but they do have secondary builds, and many a Tirpitz captain has expressed his desire to take on a Massachusetts because they think they can just take me out without any problems, and they think I have a ship that's just not as good as theirs. And anytime a Tirpitz wants to challenge me, I will gladly take up that challenge. And that may happen in this battle, so stay tuned. So here, looks like the enemy destroyer launched his torpedoes and then hid in the smoke. The Tirpitz appears to be hiding behind the island, and there's a enemy Dallas as well, who is also hiding, but he looks like he's moving out from cover. I realize that these torpedoes may not run out of steam before they get to me, so I start turning away to evade them. And I think they're going to run out of steam before they get to me, though. Yep, there they go. So the enemy destroyer is a Benson, which is definitely a threat. So I see if I can help out my own DD, who's in a low yang, which is a match for the Benson, so I'm not too concerned about that. But any chance you get to help out your DDs is a chance you should take. Because if you can take out the enemy DDs, then your job as a team will be much easier. So I begin turning in again, and I'm hoping eventually to get in within secondary range. Because that's when the Massachusetts really starts to shine. So the Benson is actually fleeing the area, which is always a welcome sight to see. We may have to deal with him later. I fire my guns at him even though he's disappeared in the hopes maybe I'll get a lucky hit on him. And then I noticed that there are some torpedoes coming from the east. That, as far as we can tell, there's no ships over there, and we lose a cruiser, our York, to the Tirpitz's main guns. So it's just me and a friendly Shiratsuyu. So I fire my rear turret at the Tirpitz, and I'm concerned that there might be an enemy destroyer over here due to those torpedoes. There I take my first damage from a salvo from the enemy Amagi, and there's the enemy DD. It is a Hatsuharu. So I immediately send my secondaries after him to give him a threat, and I turn towards him because I'm expecting more torpedoes any second. I need to be able to dodge those and also get my main guns on target.
Torpedoes, direct front.
And there are some of the torpedoes right there.
Torpedoes to port.
So the Shiratsuyu is also going with me after this guy, and I had originally been thinking I'm going to push alongside my DDs to go after the enemy ships, but now we have to deal with this threat, otherwise we're going to be effectively surrounded, or rather attacked by the ships with their guns to the front and torpedoes from the rear, and that's not a situation you want to get into. So I'm hoping to keep my distance from this guy, not get too close, and then get torpedoed, and hopefully my Shiratsuyu buddy will be able to target him. We do spot him, and I get a salvo off. I now have HE loaded to hopefully do some more damage to this guy. My salvo misses. I still have my secondaries on him, though. And at this range, the secondaries don't do all that much, or they're not as accurate as you'd like against a destroyer. However, on the other flank, you may notice that most of our ships over there are way over in the chain of islands to the far west, whereas the enemy fleet is mostly clustered around their base, other than the ships that are on the flank with us. There also is an enemy DD who tried to go up the middle and sneak in there, but fortunately we have a Cleveland there that will likely take him out. Now we have more torpedoes coming from the Hatsuhiro at me, but unfortunately for him, he spread them out into two different salvos, and I'll be able to make my way in between them. Right now we're actually down one ship. We have lost 3 cruisers to their 2 ships down. Looks like we are going to get this Hatsuhiro out. The Shiratsuyu is closing in. He has far more health. I take a peek to see how our Cleveland's doing back there. And there we go. The Cleveland is able to take out the enemy Leningrad, so our base is safe. And we've evened the odds, and looks like we're going to add a little bit more to that. My secondaries are harassing the Hatsuhiro, but not doing a lot of damage. My main salvo doesn't do too much, but he's finished off by the Shiratsuyu. Oh, interestingly enough, is actually in the same clan as the enemy. So I think he tells me in chat that he kind of regrets having to take out one of his clanmates. But that's okay, at least for this battle. So now that we have dealt with this threat, we can start advancing on the eastern flank, and I'm kind of surprised that the enemy ships haven't tried to take advantage of that in advance, but I guess since there's only an Amagi and a Tirpitz out there, they decided that they didn't want to take that chance and push against us, since we have 2 battleships, a destroyer, the Loyang, who's way up north now, and the Cleveland, who's actually moving into our direction. So as I close in, the Tirpitz is my next target, and this might be a chance where I can actually show what the Massachusetts can do. I do have the Colorado, but he is awfully slow. So really it's kind of me on my own compared to these 2 battleships, but they are actually looking at other targets right now. So my first salvo on the Tirpitz effectively does nothing. Only 1 shell hits and it shatters. I finally get him within secondary range, and I immediately start lighting him up. He is near full health. He's taking a lot of harassment fire from the Loyang, which is definitely welcome. And now he turns because he realizes that I'm kind of a serious threat here. I switch to AP since he's starting to show broadside, and he is moving behind this island, and I probably will not get another salvo off before he actually gets behind that island. But my secondaries are constantly peppering him. I've got, what, 40 hits already. So since that Amagi is actually fleeing towards their base and I can't shoot the Tirpitz, I send off my salvo towards the Amagi. Maybe I can get a lucky hit on him. And the Tirpitz looks like he's actually turning away from me now, which is kind of surprising because I would have expected a Tirpitz captain to, try to get as close as possible to me where his secondaries can do damage and he can bring his torpedoes to bear. So I'm waiting for him to come out from behind the island as my guns get ready. He still has 44,000 health to my 53, so it's pretty much a clear, or an even fight. Well, not anymore after I do that hit, because that takes him down to 21. And here he comes. He starts turning towards me. The instant he does that, I begin to turn away. Now, why do I do that? Because as Tirpitz or Bismarck captains will tell you, their armor is much better than the Massachusetts, and if you try to get in an extremely close brawl with them, so the theory goes, they will citadel you while you can't citadel them back. So And a Tirpitz captain especially will want to close the distance so he can use his torpedoes. It's like his secret weapon. But the Massachusetts' secret weapon is its secondaries, and if I just start kiting, I can just continually pepper this guy with my secondaries and also use my 16-inch guns on him. And now the Tirpitz kind of realizes the mistake he made, but it's far too late, and he goes down. And if you look at my health, I think I lost, what, 3,000 health in that battle against that guy? Which is not very much. I mean, granted, he was on fire. I was getting a little bit of help from some of my allies, but for the most part, that was kind of a one-on-one fight, and you'd think he'd be able to do a little bit more damage to me. But I did not let him get within torpedo range, and his secondaries weren't doing all that much damage. So, even if there's a Tirpitz, I'm not going to be too scared of that guy, because I know that in the Massachusetts, I can handle it. So now I've sped things up because I got to get myself way back into the battle because the enemy fleet is all in their base and I'm way over to the east. As of now, though, we do have an advantage. We're up 2 ships. We actually have taken out all of their destroyers. Oh, we just lost another one of ours. But they have 3 battleships and 3 cruisers. So I spot the enemy Baltimore, who's showing a nice amount of broadside. See if I can take him out, and this is where, let's see, do I take him out with this salvo or not? Now it looks like I completely missed, and that's kind of the dispersion of the Massachusetts guns working against me this time. Lining up another target. Looks like the Baltimore is starting to turn away. See if I can get another shot on him. I'm trying to see if he'll maintain that turn. And if he does, hopefully my shells will land right on top of him. And they do! That's kill number 2. Fire my next salvo with the Leon. I probably will not be able to kill him in 1 salvo. He's going to need a little bit more whittling down. And all my shells completely miss as he turns away. But still, there are some serious threats here. I mean, we do have our 2 destroyers out in front providing spotting for us, which is good. But there is an Amagi out there. There is the Leon, who he's in trouble. But there's also a Colorado. There's a York. And there's a Miyoko out there. So I fire at the Leon, he's showing too much broadside, and he pays for it, and that's kill number 3. I mean, we do have a friendly Nagato, but he is way away from this battle, and he's not going to be able to contribute. The Colorado is behind me, but he's awfully slow, so I'm going to outrun him. And we do have a Shores, but he's kind of far away too at this point. So it's really me and the DDs at this point taking on these 4 enemy ships. The Colorado is bow on. He does have a lot of good armor. So I just send my secondaries on him, and recognizing that the Amagi can do a lot of damage to me, I start angling against the Amagi while aiming my guns at the Colorado. I see if I can try to get a quick shot on the York there, but unfortunately he's still screened by the island. My secondaries are just chewing up the Colorado. He's also taking fire from the DDs, so he's going to go down sooner or later. Looks like he took a torpedo hit as well. And that's kill number 4. My secondaries get the kill that time, and now I have the Amagi and the Miyoko. Now the Amagi has more health than I do at this point. I have 35,000 to his 45, but he's showing way too much broadside, and we all know what that means. Well, unfortunately I don't get a Citadel, but penetrating hits is just fine. I angle enough to try to get my 3rd turret on him, and he is still not maneuvering to angle, which is kind of surprising. I guess thinking that I was not the ideal target, he shoots, but not at me. because I guess maybe he decided that I was too angled and he wasn't going to waste his broadside on me. I do get another good hit. He's very low on health. I mean, I just have no concerns whatsoever going after this guy, because I know that the closer I get, the more dangerous I'm going to be, and he'll do some damage to me, but there's no way he's going to beat me. Of course, I do have a bunch of allies helping me out at this point, so it's not just me, so it isn't quite fair. And that's kill number 5. Kraken Unleashed and the High Caliber Award, and now they have one lone ship to go. Of course, I immediately put my secondaries on him, and I start racking up some hits while my main guns reload. Now, he has decided that discretion is the better part of valor, and he's starting to run away. But if he turns a little bit, or maybe he's already done so, he has torpedoes, and he's almost certainly going to be launching them my way, so I need to be aware of that. Of course, in turning, he exposed a little bit too much broadside. I'm able to citadel him, and I get the kill. That's kill number 6. So that was another great battle in my Massachusetts. This is a amazing ship to play, and I can't recommend it enough. So if you don't have one yet, get one. It's really cool. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.